My podcast is called Just Fooling About. You know why it's called that?
No.
Okay. I did a movie called Tombstone.
I know. One of the
and
greatest
there's a
ever.
very famous scene in that movie where Val Kilmer walks out of the fucking shadows and says, I'll be your Huckleberry. And Johnny Ringo says, fight's not with you, Holliday. And he says, well, I beg to differ. And then I say, Johnny Ringo says, I was just fooling about.
We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood, remember?
I was just fooling about.
I wasn't.
So that movie, that scene that was shot where he comes out and says, I'll be your Huckleberry, is probably the most famous scene in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he kills Johnny Ringo. And all right,
where Val kills you.
Val kills me. And so we did. That movie was a mess. The director got fired. They brought in this guy George Cosmatos.
Why did the first director get fired?
First guy got fired because he was very rigid.
What was his name?
Wouldn't listen to anybody else's ideas. Was not as collaborative as we're used to being.
His name was what?
Wait a second.
A good director?
Well, he hadn't never Kevin Jarre. Kevin Jarre wrote the script and he wrote Glory, and he was in Glory. Wrote the script, and they gave him a chance to direct, and he directed for 4 weeks. And after 4 weeks, they fired him.
Who led the toss, Val or you?
The toss of what?
You tossing him out.
Oh, I'm not up there on that totem pole. That would have been Kurt and Andy Vanya, I think, who probably finally decided that this wasn't working out. But they waited 4 weeks, and
so it was you, Val, Kurt.
Not me.
No, but you were in the movie.
Yeah.
Val, Kurt, you.
Yeah, everybody is in the movie. Bill Paxton's in the movie.
Bill.
Stephen Lang's in the movie. Sam Elliott's in the movie.
Okay.
Billy Bob Thornton's in the movie. Everybody's.
Sam Elliott has to be in the movie. It's like illegal not to make a Western without him.
Seems to be, yeah.
So you had some. Billy wasn't Billy yet.
No.
So there's 7 of you guys that are very strong, unique personalities and stars.
Yes.
So you didn't talk amongst yourself and say this guy's annoying, or maybe Kurt just took the reign from everybody.
I didn't find him annoying. He wanted to make a movie the way that he wanted to make it, and he wanted to make it in kind of an old-fashioned style where there was a lot of wide shots.
That's
and
cool.
Not a lot of coverage. So there wasn't going to give the studio the ability to, he turns in his director's cut, and then he was not getting a lot of cover. I don't know all of the details. He was just very rigid. And I pulled, the day before he got fired, I pulled him into my trailer, and I said, because I liked him. I liked him a lot. I said, he's no longer with us. I said, Kevin, you got Kurt Russell out there. We had an Academy Award winning DP. I'll think of his name in a moment.
Maybe Jack Green.
What? No. And he got Powers Booth.
Wow.
We had Jim Jacks, who was the producer at the time. It's a collaborative effort. It's a team thing. It's you've been there dozens.
This
and
is
dozens
a lot
of
of. These are a lot of
that.
Things to negotiate here to navigate.
Yeah, you can't just hey, it's my way or the highway. I wrote this movie. I'm going to make it the way that I wanted. And I pulled him in. I said, you got fucking Kurt Russell's been doing this since he was 3.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to Val Kilmer. He's a great fucking actor. Listen to him. Our DP, I'll think of his name while we're talking. Listen to him. He shot Chinatown, for God's sakes,
Wow. Wow.
So anyway, what I was going to tell you about that scene, which a lot of people don't know, they love the movie, they love that scene, I'll Be Your Huckleberry, is that it was shot second unit. So it was, Val and I went out the day before, and
That's crazy.
We rehearsed the scene, Val and I never paid any attention to each other. He was one of them, and I hung out with Powers, and we never talked.
Because on the movie you were
Yeah.
opposite gangs, so
Yeah.
you guys stayed kind of in that vibe.
You know how that is.
Yes.
Yeah. You know.
A little methody.
Yeah, well, whatever. But we just I hung out with Powers, and I hung out with Stephen Lang, and I hung out with John Corbett, and I hung out with my guys, and he bonded with Kurt, and the two of those guys kind of got along, and that's the way it was. And I never. People ask me about Val Kilmer. I'm like, I don't know. I never met the motherfucker. Never met him.
But
I worked with him, but he was always sort of like. He was always, when I was around him, he was always kind of pulling the Doc Holliday card, and I was always fucking pulling the Johnny Ringo card. So when we went out to rehearse that scene, there was no, the day before, he drove out in his car, I drove out in my car. We got out of the car. There wasn't any, hey, Val, how you doing, man? What'd you do last night? None of that. None of that. It's like, all right, motherfucker.
So not just general pleasantries.
No.
And so did you take that personally?
No.
At all?
No.
But-
No, like I didn't treat him fucking with any kind of like either.
But
Wasn't nice to him either.
If he gave you a hug, would you have given him a hug back?
He wouldn't have given me a hug. When we went out there to rehearse the scene, we decided we were going to do that scene like right next to each other instead of like at 12 paces or 10 paces or whatever, and that we'd be standing next to each other, and then we'd start circling each other, and that like when he shot me, I'd stumble and the gun would go off, so we had it all blocked. So when they shot that, George Cosmatos, who's the director, he wasn't even fucking there. It was
The second unit for everybody listening.
Somebody look up the DP on Fraker, William Fraker. William Fraker was the DP. So the DP was there. He had a cameraman. He had a cameraman with him, a makeup person, and a sound person.
But William Fraker was there shooting it.
Fraker shot it.
It's kind of first unit in a way because you have the DP.
There was only 5 of us there, though.
Yes,
but
it's
the whole
not the
first
director.
unit was someplace else.
Not the DP though. The DP was with you.
The DP was with us. Yeah.
So you go and you start doing the scene.
Well, no, so then we shot the scene, but I think it's interesting for audiences to understand the most famous scene in the movie that everybody loves. Tombstone was shot by 4 people, not 90 people.
And what's crazy is, so people understand who aren't cinema heads, is that second unit means that it's not the director. He's off shooting the important stuff.
Right.
And this is relegated to the B team, if you will.
Yeah.
And Michael, not only in that movie, but is one of the biggest scenes in cinema history, I would say, was shot by 4 people.
With Westerns,
And his second unit.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So second unit, there's something even called third unit where they do inserts, and so it's basically they give the camera to a camera op, and it's like, what you're saying is wasn't handled with the care that everyone think it was, but it was with you guys. It just wasn't with the director.
Well, Val and I went out, we rehearsed it.
Shows you how great the acting is.
There was no anything other than he wanted it to be good and I wanted it to be good, and that's why we went out and rehearsed it. And so we had the blocking down, so we knew what we were doing. And Fraker said, "Okay, well, what are we doing?" We showed him the blocking, and he said, "Okay, let me set it up," and shot it.
You shoot that scene. At the end of the scene, you feel good.
I felt good, yeah.
And Val probably felt good.
I think he did, yeah.
Do you guys say good job? He walks one way. He gets in his car. You get in your car.
Well, he had a
car.
That was the rehearsals. We had the cars. We drove out there. When we went to shoot it, that was, we drove in, and then they took us, even though we were second unit, they took us in a car, or they took
Val
him
had
in
his
a car,
own car.
or we were on horses, or he took a horse, or I took a, no.
You didn't share a same vehicle.
I never shared anything with Val. I never talked to him. I never really said much to Kurt. I love Kurt to death. He did an incredible job holding that movie together when it could have fallen apart, when they did fire Kevin Jarre. He held it together. They had to cut a number of scenes out of the movie, Michael, before we shot them. It was a 145-page script, And when they fired Kevin Jarrah after 4 weeks of shooting, they said, you got to cut 30 pages out of the script. So Johnny Ringo's best scene, now I can pull it up on my phone and fucking play it for you, but Johnny Ringo's best scene after Powers Booth is killed, we never shot it.